Hi, everybody. Welcome to PAX 2025.
Oh my god.
This is
Oh my god.
Nathan
guys.
and Matt.
Oh my god.
Yep. AARPGs.
Advanced Age Role-Playing Gamers Podcast.
Yeah. As we're back, I think the name's very interesting. We obviously lean into the age aspect. Is that on purpose, out of spite, out of joy, out of irony?
With me, everything is a bit.
Okay.
So I'm not lying, all right? So yeah, I came up with that. Originally, Matt came up with the logo idea, and it's fun. It's like really. I'm 55 years old. I've got maybe 20, 25 good years left on this planet. I want to have some fun, and I don't want to take it too seriously because it's not worth it.
Yeah. When I first heard your podcast, it reminded me, not necessarily the content, but the demeanor of Ken and Robin talk about stuff. Are they an influence of yours?
I have no idea who that is. Do you know who that is?
From Ken, oh my gosh. Yeah, you need to hear them. I mean, Pelgrane Press, they follow you. Okay. And it's Ken Height.
Oh, yeah, Ken Height. Yeah.
So they have a podcast. It's kind of, they just talk about anything. They just riff on anything.
Yeah.
And when I heard your show the first one, I was like, your demeanor and the way you speak, and it's TTRPG related, although theirs isn't always TTRPG related, it's sometimes tangentially related. It kind of reminded me of you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think even from the very beginning, I think, people kind of ask, like, what's the vibe you're supposed to get, right? And really what we want is like, you're this invisible person sitting in our parents' basement, and we're all playing D&D or whatever role-playing game, right? And that's just kind of the feel we have. And we do banter about a lot of other things. We just tend to cut it from. There's a lot of
some stays in, some stays
in, some stays out, because this is also one of the ways that we see each other. We're all geographically. So usually when we log in for a session, there's a good 15, 20 minutes where we're just like, what's up with you? We'll talk and stuff like that. So yeah, but I think it's just, we're not professional actors, or we're not trying to create a radio drama. So we just really want people to feel like they're a fly on the wall to one of our games.
You do have radio voices, though.
He does. I hate my voice. Tier has a nice voice. Malcolm has a nice voice. Mine is very nasally, and I hate it.
I'm not sure you can do much about it, or want to. So how do you do a lot of interviews now? But that's not where you started. You started just friends playing TTRPGs.
Yep.
So how did you decide you wanted to transition to both TTRPGs and interviews?
Well, the whole actual play part of it started because of course, the pandemic. There's like so many pandemic actual plays out there. Some still around, some not. So that's how it started. It was our Tuesday nights of us trying to make sense and find a little bit of light, a little bit of joy in the world, but sharing the time. We have. Most of us played together for over 35 years now. So yeah, it was. I mean, it sounds wholesome, but we are a little vulgar. We are a little crass. We play like.
Show is not for children.
Not for children. No kids. But we kind of fell backwards into the whole interview thing. So before the pandemic, I was playing a game on Thursday nights because all my friends are like Matt said, geographically diverse, and my kids were in college at the time, and everybody else's kids were a little bit younger.
I'm actually heading back downstairs.
And
I'll see you in a bit.
I couldn't get a game, and I needed to play a game. Yeah. So I went really far out of my comfort zone and started playing a game with some millennials. I guess I found them through Meetup or something like that. And like, I haven't really played with other people. I call it like stranger danger games. And I was like so nervous. Like I was like, "Are you cool? Like I'm a lot older than you guys. Are you sure I'm okay? Come over to your house and play a game." It was fantastic. We the host ended up writing creating his own RPG, Necrobiotic. Was a Mitchell Wallace. We drove him here, so maintain that friendship. But he said, "Hey, you've got a YouTube channel. You want to interview me? Those Necrobiotic Kickstarter?" I was like, "Sure. Why not? Like, what do we got to lose?" So we started doing that and said, "Hey, you know what? We can ask somebody else." So we talked to like the guy who did Sean, the guy who did Savage Rifts,
Right, from Pinnacle.
yeah, and somehow we got a media pass for PAX like 4 years ago, and we interviewed a bunch of folks there, just like not knowing anything about what we're doing. I just had all the gear, and we figured it out. And we've done Gen Con a couple times since then, PAX a couple more times since then. So we just kind of fell backward into it, and it's been fun because, like me, I have zero interest in ever becoming a game designer, but I love like picking the brains. Like, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? What? How'd you do the research for that? I'm curious. So that was for me. I talked a lot there. Matt, your turn.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. Like, we didn't intend to do interviews. We kind of fell into it, and quite frankly, we're on a little pause now, but we got so much into doing the interviews and having so much fun talking to other creators, especially creators like when we go to Gen Con, we try to meet with like, you know, as big we can shoot our attempts at, right? But regularly we're talking to indie creators and stuff, or other indie podcasts. We actually launched an entire kind of separate, I'd say it's almost a separate podcast. You can find it on Spotify, I think, right now. And it's called The Leftovers. It was originally supposed to be in concept almost like The Talking Dead. It was we were going to like have an episode and then 2 days later record with the cast, but we had a lot of scheduling conflicts, so we started inviting other people, and people kept saying yes, and so we did an entire season. So we literally went from just doing ActualPlays. I think we have about 100 hours of interviews combined. And it runs the gambit from folks who are like senior lead designer for, you know, Paizo to you know, people who've spent husband and wife have been spent 7 years writing this passion RPG, right? So, and we did like a couple episode playthrough on it. So that's really been enjoyable. We like playing the games, but it was a little surprising that like meeting people and doing that would be such a big part of our content.
Yeah, you know, we're at this big show, but really a lot of it is board games, and like the TTRPG community is a lot smaller than I think we like to think about.
A niche and a niche.
It really is. It is a niche and a niche. And, you know, so like anything we could do, like, and I don't feel like we need to talk to the people that have like 1 billion followers. We need to like talk to other folks that have like, you know, small. We have like 1,300 followers right now on YouTube, subscribers, minions. I don't know what do we call them?
People we're grateful for.
Yeah. Awesome people with terrific taste. But like, you know, I find it more interesting to talk to the folks that are like on the same level you are, because really, you know, until you have like 100,000 subscribers, we're all in the same boat. So it's been nice, kind of camaraderie and commiseration is super enjoyable.
Is reaching that kind of a following a goal?
Not for me, no. What about for you? Well,
Yes. He's never going to say it on film, so I'm going to say it. Yes. I mean, you know, look,
I don't want to have to do what I would need to do to get that kind of following.
Right. I think there's kind of a combination with that of like, so there's a few groups that I really respect, right? But when I watch them, they're at every con, every weekend they're doing live. Like they work so hard, and I'm just kind of like,
It's a career.
Right. I also, you know, who doesn't like to watch the number go up a little bit, right? But there's also, I think, a danger when you get like really popular. You see it in like big franchises like Star Wars and all these, right? Something happens when something becomes so popular and it's so well loved that there's a weird flip where the audience suddenly feels that this is their product, right? And that how they think you did it is really important. And like I said, like I got my own complaints about some of the things that were done in Star Wars, but in the end, it was George Lucas's movie, not mine, right? If I want to make it, I'll go make one, right? But so I think there's that worry too. Like you see it often where like people get super popular and then they decide to do something creative, and part of them, there's like this back. I don't know, right? Like it's it's hard to explain.
I really what I enjoy, and Matt likes to point out, when we started our first like kind of full-fledged actual play, it was Pod 2000. My introduction was like we want you to enjoy this. I hope you like it, but if you don't like it, you can pound sand. We're only going to be able to make the game that us as non-professional
people,
friends who know each other, these are the people that would help us bury a dead body or even a live one somewhere. We've been to weddings, funerals, kids stuff, unweddings, and so it's. I think our relationship is and how we interact with each other is part of the show, and I think to get the kind of those numbers, I think that part would evaporate. I think it would I don't think it would survive that. So I'm not.
Yeah. We often have conversations about walking the line between, like, again, we want people to feel like they're sitting in on our game. We'd also like it to be quality to listen to, right? So there's as we've gone for a few years, it's really funny. We had someone join our cast, one of our friends, but they didn't join until about, we've been doing this for 2 years. And it was interesting because, when you have someone who hasn't been doing this and they join, they're making all, these interesting mistakes, right? Like, recording on, I'm going to eat my bag of chips, right? So we've tried to become better. We're trying to become right. We've tried to be better at delivering an actual play, but we're not. I don't think we're ever gonna treat it like we're not gonna do a radio drama. We're not gonna ever try to pretend we're not gonna squelch all the fun and some ridiculous stuff because that wasn't professional.
And honestly, for me, I intentionally wanted to have a career in post-production audio, and learning how to fix everybody else's fuck-ups has been joyful for me, and it makes me feel powerful when I can make a noise, the sound of a train passing by, go away. It's it makes me feel powerful and good. So I pat myself back all the time and tell them they're terrible for making me do that.
Yeah, our bad practices that's what keeps him moving at that.
Yeah.
If we were all really good, he'd have nothing to do.
Yeah. There's really only a few perfect actual plays. I mean, we'll call it that. Even it's not perfect. So I think everybody doing actual plays is either they don't care about the audio quality or whatever, they just get together and play, or they want it to feel like something professional, if there's a such thing in actual plays. Lately, you've been doing Dragonbane a lot, and been interviewing Tomas of Free League. So how did that connection happen? That's an interesting connection. You're both playing it, and you've run into him and interviewed him multiple times now in a row.
Yeah, so Free League has actually been really supportive. They were one of the early ones that we got on for interviews. We interviewed the guy who wrote the Alien RPG. Gaska, I can't remember his first name.
Gaskin.
Yeah.
Right.
So they have a media person, and they say, hey, let us know who you want to talk to, and we'll set it up. So they were really easy to get in front of, and I think we've met. I've interviewed Tomas at Gen Con a couple of times, and we probably have half a dozen or more interviews with just him.
Yeah.
So he knows us. I think he knows the kind of questions I like to ask, and I think we have a good conversations. It's great. So yeah, I really enjoy working with Free League. I really enjoy playing their games. So I can be. I'm definitely biased. I'm not an unbiased interviewer where I'm talking because like the last Alien interview we did, I pointed out some things that you said that they were fixing in this Evolved edition. I was like, oh yeah, we had a lot of problems with that. It's like, oh, the APCs or like the armor was like cardboard. And but yeah, if you want like an unbiased interview, it's not what I'm doing. I love their stuff, and it's just a nice conversation.
I love their stuff too. I had a similar experience when I was running Tales from the Loop and Things from the Flood. They were very, very open to conversation, very easy to get in touch with them. Media person was very open. Did that become the influence that made you decide to run Dragonbane, or were you running it before you brought them on?
No, we ran. So I'm editing now the stuff we recorded a year ago.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
So 7 more episodes.
yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay.
so yeah, we interviewed. We started playing like shortly after we got the Kickstarter delivered.
Right.
So yeah, it just takes me a long time to edit. So because we record almost every week, and we only release every 2 or 3 weeks, so we get a surplus of videos, and we'd already I think it was Alien before that.
Yeah, Alien was before.
So yeah, Alien was 6, 7, 8 months old by the time, like, after we recorded it, by the time I finished editing all the episodes.
So what's your process then? So, I mean, it'd be great to know what you do before you start shooting, like in prep. And then, like, I've seen your screenshots of some of the stuff you do, and I can see you properly bin things.
Yeah.
You really build an archive of content.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah. So basically, so I wanted to work in movies and TV. So I try to structure our little show like it's a TV show. And TV shows, you're on kind of tight deadlines, and you're doing ambience and music and sound effects, but you're not like movie. You have months to work on a 2-minute segment of audio. So I'm trying to get all the dialogue edited and cleaned up. I do a lot of heavy processing for noise reduction because we don't record in person, we're recording remote, and everybody's room has different noise and different issues, and everybody has different mic techniques. Some people forget to use the right mic, and I have to spend extra time trying to repair that. Or there's noodles slurping or chips. So
It's not me.
No.
Right.
Matt's a good boy. Matt hasn't screwed up for a long time. But yeah, so I take about 4 or 5 days in my spare time to clean up the dialogue
for one episode.
For one episode. And then I spend a little over a week just on the sound design. So it's the sound effects and ambience, and I've started. So that really, one of the things. So Matt does.
I haven't done it for the last few episodes because there's been a lot of stuff going on, but he actually takes the second crack at the audio. So I do what I call it production edits. So I listen to the entire episode, and I'm not focused on technical stuff like Nathan is, but mine is more like, all right, I'll make the decision, like maybe this one rule is a rule that's the first time it's been introduced to the game. Sometimes we'll leave that in because there is a little element of our games where people are also learning how to play. But if we've looked up this rule like 5 or 6 times, then I'll put a marker to delete that. Or because we're not professionals, sometimes I will have to pick what is the core dialogue that's occurring and what's the dialogue that somebody else, because at a regular table, we might be playing and you all might be having like a side chat, but if we're all recorded, I get all of it, right? So some of that is I'll try to pick what's the major thing. So there's a lot of like muting a particular person or cutting out a particular lookup or suggesting where a sound could be introduced, right? But it's not, I don't do the sound introduction. I might say arrow missing sound or sword hitting, and I'll just drop like a pin, and then I pass that to him, and then from there it's just kind of like two different sets of highs.
He helps me kind of like point out the things that need to be cut,
Like coughs, sneezes. Right.
So I would call it like in film lingo, there'd be like a spotting session. So he spots the stuff for me, and sometimes I can find ways where I can make both conversations work, and I can kind of creatively edit it, and even like take the same part and copy it, and have like one thing go over with the one conversation, something, and then have a side conversation with everybody else muted, which is probably weird because we are a video podcast, but I cut it to the audio. So the video, nobody's ever complained in almost 5 years we've been doing this, but it probably can look choppy, though I try to minimize that. But yeah, so I spend a lot of time. I wanted to be a sound designer, like Ben Burtt from Star Wars. He made like lightsaber and all the iconic stuff. So I like trying to take sounds from good quality libraries and modifying them to where they feel like mine.
So do your own Foley work? Do you create your own sounds?
So you stepped on a pet peeve landmine of mine. So Foley is, to me, and there's a democratization of language. I actually got invited by a sound designer who works at Skywalker Ranch. I saw the pictures. So I got to go there and talk to him, and as soon as I brought up the Foley thing, so Foley is like a specific thing. Foley is done by Foley artists who perform the sound. They're performance artists who perform a sound live to video. So what I do is more I would call sound design, where I'm recording sounds on their own, and then I layer them and process them with like reverbs, and delays, and other effects, and EQs and things like that. So I would call that sound design. It's just, most time
I knew what Foley meant. I was actually wondering, do you actually create your own sounds by like stomping in a room to create those sounds?
But I don't do it live.
So we had it was a holiday party.
Yeah.
He had everybody do zombie noises, and the kids, everybody did zombies, and then he like combined them and all that. You created your own version of a lightsaber for Malcolm's character in Battle Lords.
Battle Lords. Yeah.
So for everyone out there, it's like Foley. It's like Foley.
Foley-ish.
Yeah. It's sound design.
Any ADR work ever done? Have you ever had to replace anybody's?
So I did once for myself early on in Twilight 2000, where for some reason I think I was running with OBS, and it was eating up all my CPU, so it screwed up my local audio recording.
Nobody would ever know anything wrong with OBS. Nobody's ever had problems with that. How weird.
So I've done that, but I also now what I do to kind of help counteract that is I use a lot of modern audio interfaces have this loop back feature, so I can record on one track my audio, and then on another track I can record what I'm hearing from everybody else. Because sometimes what happens is we record locally, like one person will accidentally have their record on their laptop mic or their webcam mic instead of their proper, XLR or USB mic. So that happens occasionally. But at least with if I'm recording what I'm hearing, it's to the point where it's not horrible, and I cut it in, and I'm doing that with the current episode I'm working on right now, and that adds like a whole day to the process because basically it's four or five people talking, and I have to like cut everything off of one track and make sure it's not overlapping with other people that are talking at the same time. So if you listen to episode 41 and see if you can tell that Sean used a bad mic, then let me know.
All right.
And you've also done so he does voice changing. So we've done some of that too for
For like
particular.
villains and monsters and stuff.
Yeah, and I think we're having some fun right now working with what we record. So the current show that we're recording, we'll be releasing later this year. We've got a couple of fun again. Yeah, I guess next year, right? Yeah. So we've got a fun voice he's working on for my new character. So that'll be
Nice.
pretty good.
Yeah, and I like to combine with early on with the D&D game we did. I did a bullet voice, so I used my voice combined with a rhino rumbles, an elephant, and an elephant seal, and kind of combined those all together. So as part of that, actually probably a good 80% of that is just me with some processing for the bullet voice. So
Done live?
no.
You did it post.
Oh yeah. Everything's post. Yeah, everything's that probably took me 6 hours to do that. So
Getting back to TTRPGs, you were just talking about Twilight. I assume that's Twilight 2000 or
Yeah.
whatever. Maybe it's just Twilight now. I don't know.
it has sparkly vampires. Yeah.
So
Probably 2000.
Yeah.
you said in some of the exchange we've had, you started playing in the 80s. So what were some of your favorite games from the 80s? And do you still play any of them? Do you ever bring them forward and either play their new versions like Traveler or Gamma World or any of the classics?
We brought on a fan who's become a friend who ran Top Secret, the second edition for us. But really, no, we've been focusing on newer games mostly. I still have we played a lot of Palladium. So Matt's a huge Rifts fan.
Yeah,
so
everybody dies in Rifts. Nobody survives that.
I think all of us it was pretty boring. I think we all started with D&D. D&D was our first.
I started with
right?
Traveler, but DD very soon after.
Traveler was my second, right? And then Gamma World, Star Frontiers, the early Marvel, right? I think by college, and when we went into college, D&D was king at first, but by the time we left, Champions, right? Champions was huge, GURPS, and then Palladium. And we did Palladium Heroes, we did Palladium Robotech, I did Palladium Beyond the Supernatural, and then eventually I did Rifts. But I'm fine, I would tell people, I did not do the Rifts that most people do. I did not do Earth at all. I did their 3 galaxies because I kind of the space opera type thing.
Yeah.
So I did a huge multi-year campaign with that, and then I also did their Dark Day campaign, which was originally Night Spawn, and then he got sued, and now it's Night Bane. McFarlane sued him. I actually still have my Night Spawn rule book, and we did those for a really long time. So Palladium was kind of the number one thing we did for years. Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf, all that stuff. So that kind of carried us through. But yeah, in the last few years, it's largely been indie and freely dominated. Even off recording, we've done other every year we get together, we get a house, we all go somewhere. Walking Dead has been a big one, and we've done a couple other things.
Yeah, those Savage Worlds. Yeah, there's so many games and so little time.
Yeah. It's a golden age of role-playing games right now.
Yeah,
for sure.
we're drinking from the fire hose right now. So I've been buying games that I have no idea when I'll ever get a chance to play them. But yeah, it's fun just to go through them. I just picked up Outgun from Two Little Mice, and it's just a very very pulpy game. There's so many. There's so many games I want to try out. Shadow Dark. Oh my God, it's such a great game.
You played it?
Yeah. I ran it at home, and my wife, who's a murder hobo, she loved it, and my friends that are more power gamers, they actually enjoyed it too. So it was a solid hit for the the whole.
Is she a PvP murder hobo? Because that's the worst of course. When they kill
Yeah, no, yeah,
everyone.
yeah. She will kill your character.
Right. Did
She will
you?
kill you.
She'll kill-
Are there things you prefer about playing streamed or online versus playing at a table, and vice versa, that you miss when you're streaming that you wish was there?
So I think it's probably made. I was kind of already leaning that way, but I think leaning towards more like lighter, less crunchy games because it's really. Though we have recorded some pretty crunchy games and cut out a lot of
Iron
crunch.
Crown with
Yeah.
lists of pages
Battle
long.
Lords 7th edition. You should see that book. It'll. They took it to
They
a,
shot
They
it
took it to a gun range and shot it to see
to
what
see if
would.
they could go to what would actually go through the 700-page rulebook.
But amazing game. But yeah, it's super crunchy. But that's when you only have 2 hours to play with your friends, even besides the fact that we're actually like making a show, it's just kind of a lot to get through. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think in general, our group, if you asked us on any given day, would you rather play in the same room or do it streaming, we would say the same room. But I will say the one thing that playing online and being able to use all this new software, either it's a VTT or just the video conferencing software, that's changed since when we tried to do it like pre-pandemic. We tried to do a Star Wars thing years ago. The software was no good. It's given us consistency. We have been playing on Tuesday night for 5 years.
5 years now.
So we can't do that in real life. So that's the single greatest thing about all these new tools is that we can actually play consistently. I think though that if in a perfect world and we all won the lottery, we would just all build a giant room and all game in person all the time.
Yeah. The joke is always the compound. When are we building the compound? So, but yeah, it's just and being able like Matt and I met in high school, and most of the other folks we met in college. So it's just being able to not only play consistently, but play consistently with the people that I really want to play with. Like this group that you see, or the folks like if you ask me who are the top 5, 6, 7 people you want to play with, this is them. So
You're doing it.
So it's great. Like there's really I don't have any urge. Like I will. I've played on a couple other people's shows, but like I don't. It's not something I go out looking for, and like I really have to know you because like the way we kind of joke together, it can be a little East Coast Gen X-y. It's a little abrasive, and that doesn't always play with everybody's sensibilities.
Yeah, I have something funny along those lines. So I'm going to read you a few titles.
Okay.
Tell me your naming process. Size matters.
12-year-old boy.
Glory in the hole.
12-year-old boy.
Bone flautist.
12-year-old boy. There is a small misbehaving 12-year-old boy runs around our group's collective mind. I think if anyone spent more than a few minutes reading any of our titles, there would be no. We're not shooting for highbrow, esoteric humor. We're sort of, yeah.
You should know who we shouldn't have to explain who we are. If you look, even like some of the thumbnails we choose, up to like I had the orgasm one.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, that got a lot of clicks. It worked.
So you're not afraid of clickbait in them either.
No. The hard part is like, and I kind of alluded to earlier, is like we can only make what we're capable of making because we don't have the time to do the prep for anything that's like really kind of highbrow. So we have to kind of keep it as us playing together and keep it loose. And if you can show up tonight, that's great. If you can't, we'll make it work. And it's I think we have to kind of keep that feeling somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think and you said we have an entire two seasons of a show called Sex, Drugs, and Saving Throws. So we don't try to hide what we're doing. So I think though what's interesting though is that while the 12-year-old boy thing is true, I think though that what we don't have, I think, or we stray away from is like I'm really a real stickler on. We try to keep like as much real world out. You know, we try. I mean,
He tries.
I try. I know some of the. I guess my philosophy is you got that all day long. You listen to us. You know, you can turn on any number of other channels you'd like to listen to endless what's happening in the world. I just don't. I think it's okay to like maybe try to keep some of that out. So we try it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. You know, so a lot of that stuff ends up on the cutting room floor. But there are, just like our humor, if you listen, it doesn't take anyone really hard to figure out kind of where we land on the fence.
Yeah.
And there are a few. We've sailed a few little things under the radar, I think.
Yeah, there's like Matt tries. He'll like Mark says, "Hey, do we need this in there?" And like, yeah, that's stated. Yes, because I have Final Cut. So
Right.
So my the couch jokes stay in, the Ted Cruz stuff stays in. So it's
I try.
he tries.
So there's obviously a lot of laughing.
Yeah.
Is there ever any crying?
No crying, but we've had some pretty serious moments, especially in Twilight 2000.
Yeah, I think
Zero in Sex, Drugs, and Saving Throws.
No. So like the alien ones
Yeah.
have tension because it's a pretty good game at driving tension.
Yeah.
But not I don't think as much as an interpersonal. I think our Twilight 2000, like I don't know how to say. I think a lot of our group deals with stressful things in a very British way, so that very
Go
very
stoic.
right, go stoic or laugh at death, right? But I think that our Twilight 2000 one, although we do have very funny elements, we have one of the funniest characters that anyone's ever made with this guy Blanco Fantasma. But there are moments. There's a moment early on in the story where they come upon a farmhouse where the farmers have been basically murdered and burned alive. These people have taken it, and it turns out that one of them is, it's a U.S. soldier who, there's no armies anymore, right? But one of the characters is a U.S. soldier who ultimately in that scene executes this person. And it wasn't just flippant. It was a really focused point on like, what are the questions? The world is ended. Do our old allegiances and our behaviors still matter? And for this character, it very much did. That the only way that we don't give in to the end of the world is we keep to the laws. We keep to the. And then there's a few other really tense moments, which of course are dispersed between a guy trying to ride on the back of a trailer with a nuclear. So there's a lot of it's kind of it definitely is a roller coaster, but
it goes back and forth.
Yeah, we're capable of doing. And I would say that in our games when we were younger, we had a lot more dramatic moments. I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's really like there definitely is a roller coaster, and we'll switch like that. It'll go from hilarity to like really super dark moments because I don't think my character. Cause I kind of lean in more of the comedic relief type.
Right.
Occasionally I'll dig in there, but. There's folks at our table that are much better at that type of thing, and I think we were talking about this earlier about the spotlight, letting each other share the spotlight. Is I think as folks making actual play, whether we're players or performers or whatever it was, I think it's something we need to get better at is kind of sharing the spotlight or giving the spotlight to somebody else so they can have their moment. Because it's really easy because once we start kind of going once the laugh starts, there's this roller coaster. It's a race to the bottom,
Right.
of trying to one up each other. But yeah, the serious moments are good and enjoyable, but they're not as present as some other actual plays.
Nice. When you earlier you were saying that with Dragonbane you would talk to the creators
Yeah.
and told them things that were problematic. Do you do that with other games? Like, do you reach out to other games and say, hey, have you looked at this? I think this may be a problem with rules. Like, do you get into mechanics with creators and kind of suggest things?
Not really. No, I really, I think this is we're mostly not with Free League, but even like Free League, they seem big to us. We're still really not that big.
They're big in this industry.
Yeah, they're big-ish, but a lot of the folks we talk to are much smaller communities, and it's up to them to kind of get their message out. And I think what we do best is trying to highlight maybe some designers, game publishers that maybe folks haven't heard of or haven't been exposed to, and that's kind of what we can do. I don't really get too far into the weeds as far as like I'll ask why they designed things that way and have them explain it, but I don't really
Right.
really criticize.
Yeah. So do you see?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Agreed.
I agree.
Do you see that as your way of like getting exposure for the smaller creators as sort of a way of giving back to the community and helping the community out, or is it just
Yeah, that's
you just enjoy it?
well, both. But yeah, I think it's really like there's we have like a we're going to talk to some actual play performers here too, and it's really I think just all of it is just us kind of helping each other out, and I think it's good because like I think the more people are talking about games and the more people are making, telling stories, finding their creative voice. I think like just it can be pretty frustrating if you have this like creative need and you don't have an outlet for it. So I think actual play is a great way to exercise that. And some folks are like, hey, does your home game really need to be an actual play or something? And I push back on that kind of mentality a lot. It's like, I mean, technically true, like none of us needs to be doing this, and we don't deserve any viewers or listeners. We're putting it out there. We'd like it, but nobody owes us a listen. But just the act of creation and creating with people that I'm like super close friends with has brought me like so much like peace and joy. And if people get like a quarter of what I get out of it, of messing around with their friends on a Friday night on Twitch, then more power to them.
Yeah, I was saying like when we talk to creators, like I'm a real mechanics kind of person, but I don't really like. I think it's the other thing too. Like I'll try to have them cut stuff out. I'm also like, I know it might seem like wrong, but I'm also trying to take the sort of, I don't know if it's the term Pollyanna. So like we don't do hard hitting questions, right? I think if we've had a few people we were going to talk to who may have had some things going on, we just didn't talk to them, right? Like we're not gonna have anybody on and like try to catch them off guard or ask them to, and it's, for me it goes back to sort of like that fan thing is I'm very interested in the mechanics, but I don't think I would ever, like, especially in a forum that's public, judge someone publicly on their mechanic, right? I might walk away from it and go, well, I don't think that's going to work out, but I would never say that to them, right? I am very curious because I just really believe that a good mechanic, no matter what it is, has to fit with the type of stories you're telling, right? So that's why some game systems are better at doing some stories than others.
Yeah.
It's not enough. You can't. This is why it's very frustrating to see people will just take five. This is by controversial.
Shoehorn, yeah.
Just take. I want to make a game. Like I'll use my daughter. my daughter's friends wanted to play a like modern role-playing game. They're like, well, hey, can you help me like do some conversions to do D&D modern? I said, no. And I go, here's my D20 modern books, right? Someone spent a lot of time writing this game, which is kind of derivative from older D&D, right? But it's like, here, this, or I went out and bought her, there's literally a Transformers role-playing game. Don't take, so there they go. That's as deep as I'm going to criticize.
Yeah, I mean, and really, if you like that, that's great. But I think my taste is not going to be everybody else's taste, and it's okay if I bounce off something that you love. Great. There's like I said, we're drinking from the fire hose. There's the golden age right now. So there's something really for everybody. So yeah, where I would zero interest in touching anything 5e related right now. I mean, maybe a year from now I'll feel different, but right now I like. Okay. I mean, if I sat down, if we brought out the books right now and played D&D, I would have fun. I would go. Oh. But it's not your choice. Yeah, we're doing my first choice.
So what is next for AARPGs? Are there new things coming? You said earlier you don't want to be a publisher, you don't want to create games.
Yeah.
You enjoy it from the other side.
Yeah, so as far as the podcast goes, we've got two things in the works. We've started recording Infamous Heroes, which is a superhero game, and we're trying. We actually spent a lot more time in the pre-production phases. A lot, weeks, like a month.
This is the
zero.
most prep we've ever done for a show.
Yeah, and we're shooting it differently. We're using like multiple. We're using StreamYards. We're getting multiple cameras. So I'm gonna try and do like a multicam editing thing, which is I'm not a video guy, so it's gonna be a new challenge for me. Yeah. And we're also going to try to do shorter episodes. We're trying to get them down to about an hour. And we're also going to try to do it with fewer players. So we're splitting it up into 3 groups of 2. So we'll have like a squad, B squad, and a C squad. And, one night will be an AB, or we'll have a BC. There'll be different like superhero missions. And I think the idea is at the end we'll kind of all come together to defeat the final boss.
Small groups end in the Avengers.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Same thing. So take a little bit from like what Critical Role is doing with their professional actors and multiple groups, because that's one criticism. We have a lot of people, and we still like. And we aren't dying off fast enough. So, so until that happens, we're going to have too many people for an actual play. But we're going to do it anyway. So this is one we're going to try that, see if it works. Because I'm worried about losing our dynamic because we're kind of breaking things up a little bit. But we're trying something new and actually thinking about other people rather than us as much. This is a new thing. And I'm also I've started working on a second season for our Twilight 2000 series, the one we started with. I want to revisit the remaining characters. So that's
I think that'll probably take us. So if we're looking at 26, we'll finish releasing Dragonbane. We'll begin releasing Infamous Heroes. In the summer, we'll have our summer live. So we'll go back to doing like 2 to 3 episodes for a series of small games. And at some point in the next month or so, we're going to restart back up our interview for leftovers. So we've got, so I mean, we have enough ideas for things that like you said, some of us aren't going to be around to see them all. But we have several, I think with Twilight 2000, I would like to finish the 3rd and final chapter of Sex, Drugs, and Saving Throws, which we will not do in D&D. I've already picked a different system. So, we have a lot.
Yeah, and outside of the media and, going to more shows, I don't think we have anything hard planned. Like, like Matt's got like a writer's soul, so I think if he had the time, he would write stuff. I would love to make my own sound library of stuff I recorded myself, but I already have like some stuff. I'd like to package it and the right way and make it available to folks.
Nice.
Yeah. But other than that, there's no hard plans. We're gonna kind of just keep spinning the plates until they fall off.
Right. Well, I want to thank you for taking a few minutes with me today. This has been a really fascinating conversation. You want to tell everybody where they can find you and what?
No.
No? Okay, great. I'll drop it in the notes.
Give me the mic. So yeah, I mean, you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram. You can still find us. Well, there's not a lot on X anymore, but you can find us on Blue Sky. Where else do you post a lot of stuff?
Instagram, Threads, TikTok,
Right. So all of
Spotify.
Well,
Yeah,
right. So
all the
Spotify,
podcasts.
Spotify. There's two. You can look up AARPG, and you can find AARPG Live. It doesn't have all of the episodes in it, but that's where we stream the stuff that we don't have on YouTube.
The
So
stuff
it's all,
I don't touch.
the stuff he was very specific. If I don't edit it, don't put it in our regular stream. So we have that on there. You can go to the AARPGs.com. There you can read about us. You can find links to all the shows. We have our store, plug, where you can get amazing merchandise to show your friends. He's gonna hate this. Your geek chic, right? Yeah, I think that's about it.
Awesome. Thank you. It's been great talking with you. I hope to see you at the next con. And
Yeah.
I'll keep watching.
I
Thank you.
appreciate you taking time to talk to us. It's
Thank you.
great. Awesome.
Take care.